To begin with, we have this concept of the people from other planets as little green men. Are they green from what you know? Are they all the same?
Unfortunately, they're not so benevolent.
A fucking alien.
What's good? Welcome Air 51 here with your host Jimmy. Another day in the jungle. Give us a like, subscribe, and also become part of our community here in GoldenEyeBoxing.com for more news and more stories. All right, so let's get to this video. So Naoya Inoue is back in the news, but with some controversy. They had the press conference in Japan, the first time that Stephen Fulton and Naoya Inoue met. And Wahid Rahim had some words against Naoya Inoue, implying that he's actually using some sort of plaster to fight against his opponents. He believes that Naoya Inoue's hand wraps are, illegally wrapped. And one of the reasons why he thinks that is because there was an image that was leaked where it shows Naoya Inoue, hand wrapping himself, starting with tape, which is something that you normally don't do, and then finishing with cloth, right? It's made out of cotton. Normally, when you wrap your hands, you don't start with tape. When you start with tape, you either can wrap up your fist using more tape, which makes the material harder, or you could do something that's worse, and that is to put plaster. Either way, it's not a good thing, but we'll talk about that in 1 second. This comes amid some controversy because Naoya Inoue had to postpone the fight. We all knew they were going to fight like 2 months ago, but Naoya Inoue had a problem with his hand, so he had to postpone the fight. So that's why we're seeing the fight next week. And some people are claiming that one of the reasons why he postponed the fight was because he was doing some illegal substance, right? Another claim is that, which is true, is that Naoya Inoue had said that he didn't feel like being tested twice a week was something that he wanted to do. Random testing is not something that most athletes like. I mean, testing in general, especially when they're withdrawing blood, is not a good thing. Testing, I think it's easier, but when there's more scrutiny to see if you test positive and some sort of PEDs, normally blood testing is better. So he was upset because of it. So what do I think about this? Listen, I don't like Naoya Inoue. I definitely do not like his fans. They remind me a lot of Manny Pacquiao fans. But I'm not going to put Naoya Inoue under the fire because, first of all, the hand wraps themselves, especially if he were to start using tape, that is used in some states. For example, in Nevada, that is legal. But it's illegal, for example, in Arizona. It's illegal to use it in Texas. But sometimes the New York State Athletic Commission has allowed hand wraps to start, before putting the cloth, you can actually start putting the tape. So I don't know whether that is good or not, but it's not illegal to do that. And I know fighters myself that they use that advantage in any fight, which means that Stephen Fulton could also do the same thing in Japan by starting wrapping his hands with tape instead of using cloth. I mean, technically, Fulton could do that too because it's also legal in Japan too. So if it's legal for Inoue, then it should be legal for Fulton too, right? Now, if it were to be illegal, let's say Inoue is able to do that and not Fulton, and people are blaming Fulton for illegally wrapping tape before wrapping the cloth, then that will be different because it will be biased, right? And that will be bad. But I can't really say it's illegal, okay? I can't really say it's illegal. Now, obviously, there is some controversy with the hand wraps. I mean, listen, I understand. I know boxing. We all know what happened with Antonio Margarito back in the day. Okay, that wasn't a nice scenario for a lot of people that like boxing. That's actually very dangerous what Antonio Margarito did. because he could have hurt somebody, and I mean he could have hurt Miguel Cotto. Okay, and Miguel Cotto was always complaining about Margarito's hand wraps, but do I believe that Naoya Inoue is doing something similar to Margarito? I don't think so personally, but that's my opinion. We all different. I mean, if you know boxing, you know, there's a lot of people who claim to know boxing, but people forget the controversy between Billy Collins, okay, and Luis Resto, okay, who happened to be Puerto Rican as well. Luis Resto came and he took the padding out of the gloves, and he was basically hitting Collins flush in the face, and Collins won the fight, but after that he could never fight again because he was almost blind. So I understand that there's some concern from Wahid Rahim's camp to protect Fulton, because he should protect Fulton. I mean, you can't blame him. He's the coach. But do I believe that Naoya Inoue is doing that? It's hard for me to believe. Now, some people will criticize Naoya, saying that, well, Naoya Inoue is moving up different weight classes. How can he maintain that power? Well, there are fighters who can maintain their power in different weight classes. For example, you got Gervonta Davis, who has the power to go up a few weight classes, and he actually could beat welterweights, even though he technically started in 122, right? 126 or 130. He can move up all those weights and knock out somebody like Keith Thurman. He could do that, right? We know Leo Huck, which was a legendary fighter in the 30s. He actually moved up all the way from flyweight to actually heavyweight. You know, Henry Armstrong was a fighter like that, who was also he had a lot of knockouts. Probably one of the biggest knockout artists with Archie Moore in history. Those two were the biggest knockout artists in the world's ever known. He had over 100 knockouts, if I'm not mistaken. This is Henry Armstrong. So, you know, we've seen that also with Roberto Duran. So, Terence Crawford also is knocking out welterweights too. So I can't really say anything about Naoya Inoue, because I don't think that that's something that hasn't been done before. So I'm not going to say he is doping himself or doing any of that, or doing, PEDs or any of that. I don't know. I don't think he's doing any of that. Okay. And I'm not a Naoya Inoue fan. I've criticized him. I criticize his fans, but I don't think he's doing that. And as far as the drug testing, well, listen, I've, known a lot of boxers. I've trained and helped a few boxers myself, not as an official trainer, but more as a helper, as a side assistant. And no boxer likes to get injected. I mean, no boxer likes to get injected. I mean, people like to do hair testing, or they like to do pee testing, but nobody wants to do blood testing, because blood testing, for a lot of people, they don't like needles. They don't like, like Manny Pacquiao didn't like needles, but there's a lot of fighters that just don't like needles in general, especially when they have to put it in here in mid vein here. It's hurt. So, you got to jab, you got to throw the punches. So I don't see necessarily any controversy here. And to be honest with you, I have Stefan Fulton winning this fight. And if Naoya Inoue beats Stefan Fulton, I will give Naoya Inoue all the credit in the world. I don't see him beating Stefan Fulton, but I'm not going to come here and degrade Naoya Inoue, even though I disagree with his career and who he fought. I'm not going to call him a cheater or anything like that, because I don't know. He's never tested positive. A lot of people talk about Manny Pacquiao, that he cheated, but he never tested positive. Floyd Jr. said he was a clean fighter, and he was outside of Vegas, but he was using Silocaine to help his wrist when he was in Vegas, because Vegas was the only commission that allowed that. So it was legal in Vegas. Okay, but it might be illegal in different states. So I'm not going to come here and criticize Naoya Inoue for that. But I just don't see it. I don't see this controversy as being anything but possibly a stunt mind game by Wahid Rahim trying to, play games with Naoya Inoue. And like I said, if Naoya Inoue can do it, then Fulton can do it as well. So that shouldn't be a problem. All right, that's just my 2 cents on this. Give us a like, subscribe, and also become part of our community here in goldeneyeboxing.com for more news and stories. Deuces.